Pillar to post and coast to coast, this is The Law.
Live audio wrestling.
John Pollock here in Orlando. It's part of WrestleMania weekend, and one of the men who is just all over the place this weekend, the sensation that is Matt Riddle. And Matt, this is our first face-to-face interview in a pro wrestling setting, because you and I used to do a lot of these when it was a UFC fight week.
That's right. Last time we talked was, right before I fought John McGuire in Montreal, I believe.
All the way back in 2012, I believe.
Yes.
You always wonder how fighters are making weight. Some old school orange juice here, Matt.
Yeah, you got some bottled water and some sliced oranges to add some flavor. And I'm only 175 right now.
So you're well on track.
Yeah, 4 more pounds, and I only worked out once today. So it's going to be an easy week.
This has got to be, being such a big part of WrestleMania weekend, I mean, are you kind of taking this all in, or is your head just spinning of all the different shows that you've got to be at? It's got to be one of the more enjoyable but also challenging weekends.
Yeah, it's a good weekend. A lot of people are like, oh, you got to work a lot of matches, but, I work all around the world. Just the other day, I was in Germany. I did the Ambition Tournament, which was 3 matches, and I did the 16 Carat, which was more matches later in the day. So that was 4 in one day. Today, I only have 2 matches, so for me, it's a bigger venue, bigger, environment, but at the same time, same day, same job.
Tell me about that audience, because watching it on Flow, I'm sure it can't fully capture what it was like being in that building that day. What was that German audience like, and being part of a tournament that has such a rich history behind it?
It's good. A lot of, tournaments like that, like Bola and, the 16 Carat, they carry a lot of prestige with them. So, when you get to be part of those tournaments, you get something from it. And if you get to win those tournaments, you get even a lot more. Even when I won the Ambition, only a select few people have ever won that tournament. I'm one of them, which, makes it something special for sure.
Do you look at your progress, you look at where I was a year ago versus today, because we're just seeing you all over the place, and can you see that difference, and just, wow, what a difference a year makes, for instance?
Yeah, a lot's happened in a year. Before last year's WrestleMania, I was just starting, just having my first couple matches with the company. And then I got to, really come out of my shell last year at WrestleMania, wrestling Zack Sabre and Tracy Williams. And then this entire year, I've been traveling the world wrestling the best of the best, and now I'm back here at WrestleMania. And honestly, I'm probably one of the biggest, most over guys here this weekend, and feels good. All the hard work has paid off for sure.
It seems that for a lot of guys, it requires a ton of hard work, but people like yourself, like Cody Rhodes, obviously the Young Bucks, they're opening the eyes of a lot of people that WWE is not the be-all, end-all. You can have a lot of fun, be on your schedule, and make really good money, and not have those commitments with the WWE attached to you. Do you think that mindset is changing with a lot of performers, that doesn't have to be the ultimate destination?
I think it is, and also for me, it's not necessarily ultimate destination. For me, it's almost like if I was writing a movie or anything like that. If I wrote a movie and I directed it and had people I knew work on it, it would be my movie. But if I went to a bigger cinema or bigger production company, they would probably edit things. They would want these people working on the movie. They would change this. The sponsor has to be here. And before I know it, my movie's no longer my movie. And I feel the same thing with my wrestling. I feel like if I go to a bigger company like TNA or WWE, they look at my style and they're like, well, why aren't you doing the bump and feed? Why aren't you doing these certain things that are part of their program that I don't do, because I think it's ridiculous. I don't think that belongs in wrestling. I think it's old school and it's behind us, But at the same time, that's a formula that a lot of people work with, and a lot of agents and bookers feel that's the way matches should go as well. So I think in the indie scene, I get to be more creative. I get to be myself, even with the fans, and the fans can see that and they can relate to me more. And I think that's a big part of my success,
One show you were a part of this weekend, I mean, there's so much variety for the audience that if you can carve out a spot, it's a real triumph. And I think Joey Janella did that with his Spring Break. You got to work that show against Dan the Beast Severn, no less. Can you talk to us just a bit about Joey Janella? And it just seems like he really hit onto something this weekend.
Yeah, well, Joey Janela did something a lot of people aren't doing, and that's bringing legends back, but not just bringing them back for a photo op or something like that, or just like a mixed tag match so they can come in for one spot. He booked them for full matches with up-and-coming good talent. He wrestled, Joey Janela wrestled Marty Jannetty. I wrestled Dan Severn. Glacier was in the cluster. I don't know if I can say the F word, but he was in the cluster, So it was just, I think it was nice because you don't see that. And it was more of a mixture of bringing old school talent in with the new school talent on the indies in a new setting,
Another thing I'm curious about, when you are structuring this weekend for yourself, how complicated is it? Because there's going to be, not all the shows are going to jive with a schedule. There's overflow. I mean, how difficult is that process of just putting together your weekend schedule, or is it it comes together?
It comes together. It's pretty easy, I'm in pretty high demand, so people had me booked and I had my schedule set for WrestleMania weekend months in advance, So for this weekend, it was easy, and a lot of the promoters, even though we're competition, they all talk to one another and they work together with the talent, because a lot of the talent will work here, then work somewhere else, So it's just people helping people.
Are you a guy that's now it's really a case of having to turn down a lot of offers because your demand's got to be through the roof? And
I've turned down 2 bookings this weekend already and 1 on Tuesday.
It's got to be nice to be Matt Riddle at this point.
It's nice, but the big thing is, too, I could work every day of the week anywhere, but that's not going to help my career out. You have to work at the right places at the right time. Like right now, Evolve's hot. Progress is hot, Beyond Wrestling's hot, Joey Janella Spring Break, I knew was going to be hot just from the matchups he listed and the reaction he got on social media. So, I know where the places are hot. Even in Europe, you got, Rev Pro, you got OTT, WXW, there's so many different places, but there's certain places that are really hot and they have the sound going for them, and other places are good, but they just don't have that buzz. You got to work for the places with the buzz.
Final thing here, when you look at that growth you were mentioning, are there 1 or 2 guys maybe along the way that have really helped accelerate that for you, that getting to work with, picking their brains have really stood out amongst the many different talents you've worked with?
The thing is, I've worked with so many talents and I pick up a different piece from every one of them. I learned a lot from Chris Hero because I wrestled him more than I've probably wrestled anybody else. I wrestled him 3 times, which isn't a lot, but for me, I haven't wrestled anybody like more than once. So wrestling him 3 times, I got to pick up a lot, and plus Hero knows a lot, so it was quite easy. Plus we shared a room a couple times, and I asked a lot of questions, and I think that helped out a lot. But I did the same thing with everybody else, with Drew Gulak, even with Tracy Williams. Everybody that's been in the business longer than me, which is everybody, I've been asking questions.
He is the king of the bros, Matt Riddle. You can catch him all over the world at this point. Matt, it's always great to catch up with you, and congratulations on all the success.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.